Welcome into Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Today on the show, I say let Patterson return if that's what he wants to do. A name linked to the Braves for a trade rumor, and I disagree with Kirby. We'll talk about all that next. It's Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery, Locked On Sports Atlanta.
This is Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, and it starts now.
Welcome into a hump day edition of Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head over to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into your search browser. When you get there, hit that subscribe button. Free and available too on all your favorite podcast platforms. Download us today. Leave us a 5-star review. And of course, you can hit me up on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. Falcons training camp opened yesterday. Veterans reported. Several guys speaking to the media yesterday. One guy who was there, excited, ready to go, talked about how much he loved Atlanta and was talking to the media was Cordarrelle Patterson, who I thought it was interesting, one of the things that he said last year. He said that he's been lobbying multiple times this offseason to special teams coordinator Marquise Williams. Now, I don't think this is really tongue-in-cheek after I heard the clips and everything like that, talking about, quote, we talked like the whole offseason every 2 weeks, every other week, texting, calling. Talked to him 2 days ago and told him, listen, I'm going to be back there now. I don't know how much you want me to be back there, but I've got to be back there. Like I said, I got a record to break. Now, what he's talking about is the fact that he is trying to set the all-time kickoff return touchdown record, right now tied with the most of all time. And he said, when asked about being back there for kick returns, it's got to be, I've got a record to break, man. I need one more before I can hang it up and be back there. If I get one more, I'll stop doing it. Now, here's the thing. I know Patterson is a key component to their offense and probably right now their lead running back. But I'm all about special teams. And if Patterson wants to run kicks back, that's awesome. I think part of, in rethinking some of this, part of why Avery Williams got moved to the running back position isn't just the roster spot. It's a matter of being in the same room as Cordarrelle Patterson and learning about the return game from him, literally being in that same room. So when the running backs all get together, he's in that room. Instead of being off in the cornerback or the defensive back room and this, that, and the other, here's a guy who has an opportunity to be right in the room with Patterson and learn directly from him. And I like Avery Williams a lot. The kid they drafted out of Boise State last year became their return guy, right? I like him a lot. But I like the idea of having Cordarrelle Patterson back there. If he wants to run kicks back, brother, who's this team right now to say no? This team has to find everything it can to gain an advantage. I know this sounds like a very simple statistic, right? But if you look at the really good teams in the NFL and you look at one thing about them, they all have good starting field position. There's a big difference between teams who start at the 30 and beyond and who start below the 30-yard line for average starting field position. A lot of playoff teams you find are 30 and above. Now, look, I'm not saying the Falcons are a playoff team or this, any other, but when you talk about trying to find an advantage in a game and trying to make it easier for your offense and shorten up the field, anything you can do for that, for this club, especially after the numbers we talked about yesterday with the red zone, I'm all for. Now, I'm going to talk about another former Falcon that made a difference in special teams in just a second, but let me talk first about my friends over at betonline.net. Baseball is cranked up. We're in the quote-unquote second half of the season. We're headed toward pennant races, baseball season cranking up. Don't look now, but the Hall of Fame game this weekend, then NFL preseason and regular season right around the corner, boxing, golf, MMA. BetOnline.net is the fastest, easiest way to find all of your betting needs and get in on the action. Your number one online source for odds, lines, games, whatever you need. Baseball, NFL, NBA, esports, even golf. You can bet on everything there. Continues to be your top online resource for all your sports wagering information. You need live in-game betting. You want scores. You want podcast information. They have you covered on everything today. So head over to betonline.net today. Use your mobile device. Learn more about what's happening over there. Betonline.net is where the game starts. Now, go back a few years ago, and because it's been a very mixed bag in the special teams department for the Atlanta Falcons. Go back to when this team had Devin Hester. Remember Devin Hester here for the Falcons and what a dynamic presence that he was? Here is reality. Devin Hester won football games as a return guy for the Falcons. He was a definite component and a key factor in why the Falcons won games because of his special teams play. I know he was a receiver and he had the one game where he caught the big touchdown. I get all that. But his ability to change up the direction of the field and put that threat and make a big presence in the return, he won them games. He won them games as a return guy. I don't care that we're in this new age of the NFL of, concussions, and we're worried about, hitting too much, and we're trying to minimize returns, this, that, and the other. Brother, you don't need but one good return in a game to change the dynamic of it. You don't need but one good kickoff return to flip the field and change up field position in a game that could be a slugfest with a couple of teams. So if Cordarrelle Patterson wants to get back there and return kicks, let him. I understand it puts him at more risk and blah, blah, blah. With all due respect, okay? Did you see USA Today put out their predicted finishes for the NFL? And the Falcons were 2-15, and the Vegas betting lines only have them at 4.5. Can I tell you, with all due respect, if you're going to try to win football games and you're going to try to do anything this season, you got to pull out every gimmick that you can, right? You got to go under the ring and grab the sledgehammer or grab the folding chair or grab the fire hydrant or fire extinguisher. I said not fire hydrant, fire extinguisher. Go grab whatever. Grab the cookie sheets. Grab whatever gimmick you need to grab to help you win. So if that's what Patterson wants to do, with all due respect to Arthur Smith, I understand he's your lead back. Okay. Maybe he's got to take a couple plays off here and there. Let him. I'm all for having a more dynamic special teams. I like Avery Williams. I like the combination of putting both those guys back there for kickoff return. I'm all for it. And listen, I love the idea of Avery Williams learning from this guy. And I love the fact that Patterson still has that passion and fire for playing special teams. Look, a lot of times when rookies come into the league, the way you make your bones early on is being a special teams player. Not a return guy, but being on special teams and learning to play there. Personally, I think when all is said and done, that's where Troy Anderson, one of their second-round picks, is going to end up as being or not second-round pick, he'd be third-round pick, but he's going to end up being a special teams guy when all is said and done. To start with, he'll be a linebacker at some point, but my point is he'll make his bones early on special teams. So I love the fact that Patterson has come out and said, hey, yeah, I want to break the record. You know what that probably means? I know some folks are going to like this. That means he's probably going to get overly aggressive. And you know what? Being overly aggressive in kickoff return, I'm all for that. There used to be a time when there was a premium on punt and kick return guys, when you had to have one of those dynamic guys. And I get it. The game has changed. We're trying to take away kickoffs, CTE. I get all of the things and factors that bubble up around it. But, brother, let me have a guy who wants to return kicks. Let me have Patterson back there. I'll figure it all out from there. Give me that added field position. Give me that home run threat. And who knows? He runs a kickoff back. You may, win a game just because of that, just like you did with Devin Hester back in the old days. All right, when we come back, one name that's rumored to head to the Atlanta Braves that I like. I'm all for. It's sort of what we talked about. It is Jon Chuckery. It's hitting hard here on. Back with you on Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head to youtube.com and then get to Locked On Sports Atlanta into your search browser. When you find our page, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. Free and available on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Leave us a 5-star review there. And then give me a follow on my personal Twitter page. That would be at JMCH316. So a report came out, as we talked about yesterday, the Braves, and trying to figure out what they're going to do here at the trade deadline. Jim Bowden of The Athletic, former MLB GM, this, that, and the other, has said that The Atlanta Braves, when it comes to Kansas City Royals outfielder Andrew Benintendi, quote, tops their target list. And it says also that they would, quote, jump at the opportunity to add Cincinnati Reds starter Luis Castillo. But what caught me is the Benintendi talk. Now, Bowden also says, quote, the Braves are enamored with Benintendi because he is a strong defensive player with a high on-base percentage, and he's a left-handed hitter, which would help balance their lineup better. Well, ding, 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 ding. Didn't we talk about this just literally yesterday? Now, Benintendi checks all the boxes of helping the Braves out. Is he a big power hitter like they look? No. But let me tell you what he is. Right now, he's hitting .321 with a .389 on base percentage. I think he's, by the way, fourth in the American League in batting average. With a .788 OPS, he scored 40 runs, played 92 games, 14 doubles, hit 3 homers, driven in 39, and does have 4 steals along with it. I agree 100%. Now, here's where I'll talk about the fit in just a minute, but here's where my only concern is that Benintendi is a popular trade target right now. And there is going to be definite competition to try to get the services of Benintendi. And I brought this up yesterday, the idea of what do the Braves have left in their minor league system that is attractive and appealing? Let's be honest. The minor league system has thinned a good bit for the Braves over the last couple of years. You've traded Pache, you've traded Waters, you traded Langoliers, right? You brought Strider and Michael Harris up that you just literally drafted 2 years ago. Those guys are on the big league roster now. So you may end up, if you're going to get Benintendi, have to start dipping into prospects like a Jared Schuster that just moved up to Gwinnett. You may have to dip into some prospects that you don't want to give up. Maybe the Braves have enough available that it's what the Royals want, but that's my first concern, is the idea of, do we have enough depth and do we have enough in our minor league system that it's going to be appealing, or we can put together a better package than somebody else? Now, we'll talk about Benintendi and the fit for the Atlanta Braves in just a second, but let me talk to you about my folks over at BlueNile.com. Listen, this is your online jeweler, the place you need to go. You got an engagement that you want to, you want to pop the question here as we're headed toward, fall. You've been dating the girl for a while now. You want to pop the question to her. You want to, give her that engagement ring. BlueNile.com is the place to go. Head for the build your engagement ring of her dreams. The online tool that's going to let you choose the shape, size, clarity, setting style, perfect engagement ring, unique one-of-a-kind ring out there. That's available to you. Maybe you're already married. Maybe you're just looking for a gift, a birthday, an anniversary, or you just want to tell you love her, what have you, or you messed up. Listen, it happens. I get it. I understand. Put out the life special moments. Find an online, talk to an online expert. They're available 24/7 at BlueNile.net. And listen, you can, BlueNile.com, head over there today. Talk to an expert. Find that perfect gift for her to say, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, whatever. It doesn't really matter, right? Figure it all out from there. So here's what we got going on. We have a deal for you right now over at BlueNile.com for Locked On Sports Atlanta listeners, okay? If you head over there, find the unique one-of-a-kind gift that you want to give her, engagement ring, present, whatever it is out there. When you spend $500 or more, you're going to get $50 off by putting in the code Locked On at checkout. LOCKEDON, Locked On at checkout. Put that code in, and you'll get $50 off your $500 or more purchase. Locked On, the coupon code at checkout. Every order is insured, it ships free, and it arrives in a discreet box so that, listen, she's not going to know exactly what it is. She's not going to be tipped off. She's not going to realize that there's a piece of jewelry in here for her, or maybe you got it for your girlfriend. Whatever it is, listen, whatever you got to do, you do that in life. But anyway, discreet packaging. You won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. Now, the other thing about Benintendi is all of the boxes that he checks for the Braves. What did I just say the other day? Left-handed bat. I'm more apt to want to go find me another left-handed bat, especially with all the right-handers that we're going to face within the division. We talked about, last night Nola was pitching. You've got DeGrom. You've got Scherzer. By the way, DeGrom is going to make a rehab start today. And then supposedly his next start will be at the big league club. Well, guess who's starting August 4th? The Braves are going to run into. Oh, yeah, the Mets. So buckle up, Buttercup, because you're probably going to see DeGrom, and I know you're going to see Scherzer. You're going to play a 5-game series against the Mets. You're pretty much guaranteed you're going to see both of those guys in a 5-game set, unless somebody's going to get hurt or something. So you got all these right-handers in Alcantara. You got all these right-handers in the division. Give me that left-handed on bat. And the other part that I like is we literally just yesterday talked about the struggles that Dansby and Ronnie have had. Okay, well, Dansby had a big breakout night last night, right? 3 hits last night, scored a couple runs. Cool, that was great. Ronnie 0 for 5, but that's another story for another day, right? But if you need to give one of those guys a day off and you need to tweak your lineup, you can put Benintendi right at the top of the order. He's a 1 or 2 hitter. He's been hitting second for the Royals. You can plug him in at that top of that order. You don't have to try to mishmash him through the middle of the order and this, then the other. You can put him right up at the top. He's got the on base and enough speed and this, then the other that he fits right in to having. We talked about this yesterday. You don't really want to put Michael Harris there just because you like what he's doing in the 9 spot and you don't want to put that pressure on him. But Benintendi fits a perfect role in the batting order itself. And then, defensively, he can play every day out in the outfield. He also plays center field. We talked about that yesterday. Hey, could I find a guy that could, if you want to give Michael Harris a day off without having to move Ronnie into center field, could I find a guy that can play me some center field? Well, guess what Benintendi can do? He can really play all the outfield spots, including center. And he's played plenty of center field when he was with the Red Sox. Oh, yeah. Did I mention that he has a whole bunch of playoff experience as well? He did play for the Red Sox. He has been in a few playoff series in his career. In fact, if you look at some of his numbers out there, 3 different times that he's been in the playoffs for the Red Sox, 16, 17, and 18. So he checks every box that you could ask for when you talk about what the Braves need. The question now becomes, what's the asking price? Is this going to be a guy that I would think a lot of teams are going to be competing for, right? A lot of teams are going to be looking for the services of Benintendi because he checks all kinds of boxes, right? He's a Gold Glove outfielder, high batting average, high on base, right? All those kinds of things. Now, the good news is that, I shouldn't say the good news, but look, you're not going to have a long-term commitment, I guess, which I guess for this team is maybe good in some ways. But, look, if you like him, you sign him long-term. If you don't, you move on from him. But he fits and checks all the boxes that you could want for the Atlanta Braves. But I do have concerns about now that Pache, Waters, Longoliers, all these guys are moved around. What's it going to take? Whether you like this or not, he's an everyday Gold Glove winning all-star outfielder. Okay. Again, I don't care if he plays for the Royals or whatever. He's played for the Red Sox. He did well there. He was supposed to be part of that whole youth movement that they were going to have, right? When they had Betts and Benintendi and Bogarts, and remember that was going to be the Killer Bees. They had that whole youth movement going on, and that's all dissipated. Now, they got Devers and Bogarts and all that stuff, but talking about they've gotten rid of Betts and Benintendi and some of those guys. So he checks all the boxes, but again, an everyday Gold Glove all-star outfielder, 4th in the league in batting, is probably not going to run for fish. If I'm the Royals, hell, I want everything I can, and I'm going to shop him around to every team. Look, by the way, the Mets are looking for another guy. Now, they've won more of a power hitter, but the Mets are looking for another outfielder. A lot of teams are going to come calling for Benintendi. We'll see if the Braves have the package to try to put this thing together. All right, when we get back, I disagree with Kirby Smart. I'll explain next. It is Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery, Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hitting Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Head over to youtube.com. Put Locked On Sports Atlanta in the search browser when you find our page. Hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment. Free and available all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Find us there. Hit that 5-star review button. And, of course, give me a follow on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. So Kirby Smart and I disagree. Had a chance to meet and talk with Kirby Smart last week at SEC Media Days. But he and I disagree on one thing. and that is the Georgia-Florida game. Now, Kirby is in favor of the idea of making this a home-and-home campus game instead of the neutral site game in Jacksonville, saying, quote, I'm competing against guys all across the SEC who host kids at their biggest game. When Auburn plays Alabama, guess where the recruits are? They're at Auburn. When LSU and Alabama play, guess where the biggest recruits want to go? It's an opportunity for us to bring these kids who fly in from all over the country. What game do they want to see? They'd like to see Georgia play Florida, but they can't do that. Now, look, I understand the idea of having the game on campus. Okay, I get it. And I understand what Kirby is saying about recruiting. And look, if it's a year where you're not playing Auburn at home, per se, and I also understand the fact too that when they're the home team in Jacksonville, that they lose a home SEC game, right? I get all those things and I understand all that. But there is an economic benefit to Georgia, Florida. The schools get about $3.5 million more than they probably would net at a regular home season, home game. I get all that, and I understand this thing, but I disagree with it. I'm not for moving this game. Look, in a sport where we're losing tradition every minute of every day, and there are few things left to hang your hat on, I love the idea that Georgia, Florida is a neutral site game. And I don't care if it is in the state of Florida. Trust me when I tell you, it ain't like Bulldog fans don't travel down there. It ain't like Florida's had such a home field advantage that it's not good for Georgia. It's an event weekend. It's like the Red River Shootout, right? Playing that at the Cotton Bowl. There is something about tradition in college football. And a sport that is built so much around that and has so much history around rivalries and tradition and specific games, right? We call it the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. We call it the Red River Shootout. We call it Bedlam. We have all these names, the Iron Bowl, right? We have all these names that we attach to these games for a reason because they mean, as the saying goes, I hate to use their saying, but it just means more, right? And that's what's great about college football. Now, would it lessen if Georgia and Florida played on campus? Would it lessen the rivalry and all that kind of stuff? No, it wouldn't. It would be just another SEC game, right? But that's what makes it different. That's why every Halloween weekend, first off, that CBS is going to take that game on Halloween weekend, and it's going to be Georgia, Florida is always going to be the 3:30 game because it's an event. It's a spectacle, right? It's always going to be right there. And everybody gears up and plans their Halloween weekend around the idea of, hey, it's Georgia, Florida week. Let's head down there. Let's get down to the landing, right? I love the idea of where this game is played, and I disagree with Kirby on all this. Now, let me talk to you first about my friends over at coffeeam.com. Listen, Coffee AM is the best small batch coffee roaster in America. I love these guys. I love these folks. I love the care package that they sent us. You like organic coffees. You like flavored coffees. You like K-cups. You like strong roast, dark roast, light roast, this roast, that, whatever. All of your coffee, tea, and gift set needs are available to you at coffeeam.com. I love these folks. No matter what you're looking for, you head over to their website, coffeeam.com. Look through their wide, extensive menu of coffees, teas, gift sets, all the products that they have available to you. And because you are a Locked On Sports Atlanta listener, we've got a deal going on because these folks are right here in Georgia. They're up in Canton. Love these folks. If you head to coffeeam.com/locked on today, go through their menu, find the different things that you want, put together a huge order, go for it, okay? When you put together that first order of whatever you got, coffees, teas, gift sets, use the coupon code Locked On at checkout. Locked On, LOCKEDON, Locked On at checkout. Get 15% off that first order. Just simply use Locked On in the coupon code box at checkout, and you'll get 15% off that first order of coffees, teas, gift sets, whatever it is, that care package you put together. I love these folks. They're up in Canton. They're local. Can't say enough good things about them. I drink their coffee every single morning out there. If you're a coffee drinker like me, you're going to love these guys. head to coffeeam.com right now and take advantage of that promotional offer. Now, I completely get why Kirby Smart talks about the recruiting aspect of it. But again, it ain't like, with all due respect, it ain't like this has hurt Kirby in the recruiting, right? And it ain't like Kirby's missing out on recruits because, man, we couldn't go to Georgia, Florida. We couldn't get him down. Okay. And by the way, if the SEC gets this new schedule, you're going to play Alabama every 4 years then. You're going to play all the time. You're going to play Texas A&M every 4 years, right? You're going to, in a 4-year period, you're going to have home games against Alabama and Texas A&M and everything. So you're going to have plenty of games for these kids to come in and see. Yeah, I get it. Georgia, Florida is different. That's why you leave it in Jacksonville. That's why you leave it there, is because it is special. It is unique. It is different. You know that on Halloween weekend in Jacksonville, it's an event. And that's what makes college football great. That's what makes it so special. And honestly, let's cut through the fog, okay? If you look at the money that's involved in it, there is a benefit to playing the game in Jacksonville. That you know it's going to be national TV. You always know it's going to be national TV because it's an event, and the economic impact of the city and the money, that comes in because of that event and everything like that. There is financial benefit for both teams to have it, which is good. Isn't that kind of what makes it best for everybody, is if everybody wins in this thing, even more than having it on campus every other year? I get it. You don't have as many home games when you're the home team. You're not playing in Sanford Stadium. I get that. You're not bringing the recruits in. Depending on how your schedule works, if you don't have Auburn, okay, you find other games. And Georgia's playing, really good teams out of conference and things like that. There's plenty of opportunity. And by the way, Kirby Smart's not hurting in the recruiting aspect of it. Every 5-star kids not named Arch Manning are coming to Georgia. He's finding every one of those kids that he wants, and he brings them on in. So I understand why, from the coaching, analytical, every other year not I get all of that. But as fans, this is the one time that I'm going to speak as fans, okay? It's an event. It's a happening. It's one of the unique games in college football. In a sport where we don't have a lot of unique games anymore, we don't have a lot of these sort of older traditions and things like that. We've kind of gone stale on those things. I love having the Red River Shootout. I love having the world's largest cocktail party. And yes, by the way, I'm not politically correct. It is the Red River Shootout, and it is the world's largest cocktail party, okay? Largest outdoor cocktail party, okay? I'm not afraid to be politically incorrect if you know it, right? And if you don't like it, I say just bring it. But anyway, look, this is what makes college football great. And I don't want to see this thing go away. Will it go away? Probably. Like everything else. I mean, it's changes, changes in the air, change is coming, and the bean counters, if you will, they're going to have their way and things are going to be different. But this is one of those times where I disagree with Kirby. Keep the game in Jacksonville. All right, thank you so much for making Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen every day. Make A to Z with Mark Zinno your second listen every day. Mark's back in talking all things Atlanta sports, opinions you may not like, but you got to hear. That's free and available on our YouTube page, Locked On Sports Atlanta. Hit that subscribe button, be a part of our ever-growing community, over 2,600 folks there. Free and available all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Give us a download, give us a 5-star review, and then also give me a follow, if you would, on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. Back with you tomorrow on Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta.